book besties, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Delaney. If you are new here, I am excited to be back. I feel like I haven't filmed in forever and it really hasn't been that long, but I've been in such a creative rut both on TikTok and here on YouTube, and I'm like, I don't even know what anyone wants to see. I have no creative ideas in my brain, brain empty. So I haven't been filming, but I miss filming. So this week, we're just taking it back to basics. We're just gonna do a mood read with me for a week. What I read in a week. No rules, no guidelines, no super fun creative twist. Just reading with me for an entire week. However, this week is gonna be far from boring because we're kicking the week off with an early release copy of my most anticipated book of 2025, and that is Wildside by Elsie Silver. This is my current read. It got delivered to me totally by surprise yesterday. I didn't know this was coming, and I instantly finished my last book. I was actually in the middle of another Elsie Silver. I was reading a photo finish. And I was like, oh my gosh, now I have to finish a photo finish and then jump into this book, because how is this sitting on my kitchen counter and I'm not picking it up? Absolutely not. So I flew through the end of a photo finish and jumped into Wildside. I stayed up way too late last night reading it. I only got 60 pages in because I was exhausted, but I am loving it so far. I'm loving it. So if you're familiar with the Rose Hill community, this book is Reese and Tabitha, and it is a fake marriage and kind of a enemies to lovers, rivals to lovers. I don't even know what to call it. They don't get along. Essentially, the premise of this is Tabitha's sister was renting the home next to Reese's. He was her landlord and renting it to her. She passes away. She has a very, very young son. So Tabitha is going to come take care of her sister's affairs, and she's assuming that the son is going to be in her custody. Come to find out, Tabitha, for some reason that we don't know, left her child to Reese. So now there's this dilemma because Reese doesn't totally live full-time in Rose Hill. He actually lives in Florida, which is a whole country away because this is in Canada. So there's this dilemma of if he adopts this child and is the new guardian of this child. He's not even a citizen of Canada. It is super messy, and they don't want to lift the child out of his family and home environment. So that's where I'm at right now. I don't know what's going to happen with this. Based on the wedding cake on the front and the tropes that I've heard, I'm assuming they end up getting married. I haven't gotten to that part, but yeah. So it says, when Tabitha's nephew's guardianship is contested, she decides she'll do whatever it takes to keep him in Rose Hill, even if it means marrying the enemy. So that's where I'm at as of now. I love reading Elsie Silver's books because she leaves the most fun little tidbits. Had I not just been reading this book, I probably would have missed it, but the character overlap, all her characters exist in the same world, and I love that. This is her very first series, the Gold Rush Ranch series, and the male main character's therapist in this book showed up in this book. Her name's Trixie, and the therapist was described in this book, and I was like, oh my gosh, I just read about her 2 hours ago in a photo finish. It was really, really fun. Probably would have missed it had I not read them back to back because she's such a side character. But those little Easter egg tidbits, I think it's so creative. I love it. But that's where we're starting. This is my current read. I'm also reading Legendary in the Caravel series. I don't even want to talk about that book, so we're not going to include that in the vlog. I have no thoughts. I have nothing to say about that book, so we're not going to vlog that portion. Stay tuned for my wrap up for final thoughts on that if I make it through, but that is where I'm at right now. This is definitely my priority. I'm really excited. It's a Thursday and it's only 2:50 p.m. and I'm clocking out of work so I can read this because priorities. I don't care if I have to work a little extra hard next week. I need to read this right now. So that's the vibe. That's where we're at right now. I'm gonna go cozy up with my dog, put some pajamas on probably, and read this book. And I'm excited. Laying under my weighted blanket, smooth jazz playing in the background, reading this book with my dog. There's no better afternoon. So that's the plan. That's the vibe. And I will update you when I get to read more. I am loving it so far, and I'm not even 100 pages in. It's just, Elsie Silver is insane. I love her. Okay, we have to talk about this man. The man that Rhys Dupree is. I'm in love. I am in love with this man. Elsie Silver, I think, does the best job of combining gruff, almost grumpy, like just overtly very masculine, I don't know, aggressive isn't the right word, but just like burly men with being soft simultaneously. Because I feel like so many books and so many authors try to create this like alpha male character, and in doing so he's like too big and burly and gruff that he comes off as an asshole. I feel like Elsie has found the perfect balance of like being all those things and being such a sweetheart where like you fall in love with the men. Like they are just incredible. Her female main characters as well are just amazing. I love them too. I feel like Tabitha in this book, she is like the most beautiful mix of being soft and maternal and feminine and emotional and being kind of a boss bee, honestly. And like she owns a restaurant and she's freaking hilarious, like takes zero crap from anybody. She reminds me a lot of Willa and of Winter from the Chestnut Springs series, and I love them so much. So just like the two complex characters that I'm absolutely in love with, both of them as individuals, coming together with a child in the picture as well, my heart is just melting. There's also two lines in this book so far that have really stuck out to me. One of them, I was reading and I was like, oh, okay, so Rhys is talking to somebody and he calls Tabitha Tabby, which is like a nickname that like very few people get to call Tabitha. And he goes, her name is Tabitha. Not that you need to know, because you're going to keep my wife's name out your effing mouth. I was like, protective king. Protective king. It has the same vibe as like Touch Her and You Die. Like, I love him. I love him so much. Also was a line after the, oh my gosh, so funny. Hold on. I took a picture of it. I posted it on my Instagram story. There's a line and Cora, Rosie and Ford's daughter, asks, is getting married as exhausting as it looks? And Tabitha goes, girl, have you met men? Everything about them is exhausting. And I was like, that is so relatable. Like, yeah. It's little things like that that Elsie puts into her books and you just feel like you're talking to your girlfriends. I don't know. It's so good. I'm loving this. I don't have a ton of like thoughts to say. I just wanted to touch base because I'm at page 281 right now. So I have just under 200 pages left and I'm just eating this up. I'm loving every second of this. I'm really excited to go continue reading. It's the weekend, so I can just totally zen out, be cozy, read all weekend long. Probably will finish this today or tomorrow. I'm loving it. I cannot believe I have my hands on it early. Like, I'm still in awe, but so, so good. I cannot wait for you guys to read this and like share your thoughts with me. I'm in love. I'm in love. Elsie Silver has done it again. Are we surprised? Not at all. Okay, besties, I finished Wildside and 5 stars. Like, I'm just gonna say it. It was a 5-star book. Elsie Silver, once again, convinces me that I don't even know what I like in books, because there are so many things that I was like so set that I was not a fan of in books. I didn't like accidental pregnancy. I don't typically like children written in books. I feel like most often they're written to be not at all their age. They either are acting way too baby-ish or way too mature for their age, and it just is kind of weird for me. I love Elsie Silver when she writes kids in books. They are phenomenal. What else has she done? Grumpy Sunshine, I talked about this and I think the last time I talked. She writes grumpy men in a way that they're actually endearing and like just genuinely grumpy and not just bad people. I love her Grumpy Sunshine. And now fake marriage. I'm not a fan of fake dating, and even more so fake marriage. It just feels weird to me. Like, never have I ever in my entire life heard of people fake dating. Maybe like faking a wedding date, but like a date to a wedding, not like faking that you have a wedding date like a day. Never mind. Never in my life have I heard of like actual fake dating, and definitely not fake marriage. But here we are. 5-star read, a trope that I didn't think I liked, and I loved it. So Elsie Silver is basically just like pure genius, magic. I don't know how she does it. I loved this book. Also was a lot of elements, and I feel like there's parts of this in Chestnut Springs too, but I was more into like the cowboy bull rider-ish career path. This career path of our male main character, I'm not going to say it because it's like kind of a spoiler, you don't find it out until a little bit into the book, but I wasn't super interested in his career path, and there was a lot of chapters that were relatively detailed around it, but she wrote it in a way that I like wasn't bored. I don't even know how she does it. I don't know how she does it, because normally if I wasn't into someone's career and a whole book was like discussing in detail what that was like, I would be bored of it. I wasn't. It didn't bother me. So 5-star read. She's just incredible. Elsie Silver can do no wrong. You absolutely have to pick up this book. Can confirm it is worth the wait, worth the hype. I love this series. I love Chestnut Springs and I love Rose Hill. I don't know if I could pick a favorite, but these are all single dads and I'm so here for it. I love it so much and I cannot wait for the next book. There were so many little tidbits dropped through this book and I'm so curious about our next couple. I cannot wait. But now it's time to tell you guys the book that I picked up next after finishing Wildside. I'm reading Harry Potter. I am going back. I am rereading the Harry Potter series. I read this entire series when I was in elementary school. I loved it. I have not seen any of the movies, so I'm hopeful I can like persuade my boyfriend or somebody to watch the movies with me. I am the worst TV and movie watcher ever. Ever. Like I give myself 10 minutes max that I can sit still and watch something. I don't know what it is. I can read a book for hours on end, but put me in front of a TV screen and I'm pacing, I'm doodling, I'm on my phone, I'm making up other stories. I can sit and like, okay, I'm going to put my eyes only on the TV screen and my mind is somewhere else within 10 minutes. Like I can be watching and not retaining any of it. So the Harry Potter movies are going to be a stretch for me considering they are very long, but the books are going really great. I'm already so invested in this. It is so nostalgic. I was gonna vlog the entire Harry Potter series. Let me know if you guys want individual vlogs for the rest of the books in this series, because I think I'm going to do one a month for the rest of the year. And if you want to see like individual, like a little Harry Potter reading vlog series, let me know if you'd be interested in that. This is just so nostalgic. I remember parts of it. It's so weird. I remember parts so vividly and then other parts are like I'm reading a book for the first time. So I'm having a lot of fun. I'm already like 50% of the way through this. I'm flying through it. It's pretty short. It's like 300-ish pages. Yeah, 305. So I will probably finish this today or tomorrow. It'll be like a day or two of reading this, I would assume. I'm excited. I'm excited to continue. I'm having a great time reading this. So we're off to a really solid start. Wildside, easy 5-star read. You guys have to get so excited. Pre-order it, order it. I don't know what time this vlog will be up, but I don't know if it's out yet, but you need to read it. And Harry Potter, they can't go wrong. You know, it can't go wrong. It's Harry Potter. So that's where we're at. And I will let you know how the rest of Harry Potter goes and if I decide to pick up another book in the meantime. I feel like this could be like a secondary book. I'm wanting to start another book. I'm thinking Beartown, or I just got this book. My boyfriend bought me these books. He bought me If You Tell. I've been wanting to read this. One of my clients suggested this book to me and we have like similar taste in things. So I'm I'm reading the back. I'm really story is what I was gonna say. I'm really excited, but it says, it's a true story of 3 young girls caught in the web of a coldly calculating killer, their mother. So it's definitely a heavier read, scary, and just eerie because it's like a true story. So that shall be interesting. That's kind of on my radar, but we'll see where I go. But that's the update. As of now, I'm gonna read some more Harry Potter and I will keep you posted. Hello, besties. Ignore the appearance. We are having a reading only day. It is a weekend. I have had the busiest, most draining week and we're just reading. We're not putting makeup on. We're not getting dressed. We are reading and that is it. However, my mom did cut my hair today. So we did do something today and she slayed. Honestly, like my mom has no professional hair cutting experience. She used to be like the receptionist at a hair salon and so she like learned tips and tricks and she watches like Instagram reels and stuff of cutting hair and she slays. Every single time. My mom is the only person that touches my hair. Like, I love it. Mommy for the win. But I wanted like longer, like I wanted curtain bangs to begin with and then I got scared. I went on TikTok and everyone's like 10 reasons you shouldn't get curtain bangs and I was like, ooh. So I just did kind of like longer face framing layers. I might go back and have her bang them a little bit more. Bang them. Turn them into bangs a little bit more, like shorten them a little. But as of now, kind of slays. I love it. But the reason you're here, we have bookish updates. I finished Harry Potter and I gave it 4 stars. I had so much fun reading this. It was so nostalgic. My inner child was just beaming ear to ear, like so joyful to be back in this world. I love these characters. I love Hagrid. He is my favorite character in the Harry Potter world. I just adore Hagrid. I love the Harry, Ron, Hermione dynamic. I really love Neville too. I feel like he doesn't get enough hype. He reminds me of, this is what I picture. Maybe it's just because I haven't seen the movies, but he reminds me of the little boy, like a grown-up version, slightly more grown-up, of the little boy on the Polar Express. And I don't know his name. Does anyone on the Polar Express have names? Why do I not know any of their names? I watch that movie every year at Christmas time. I feel like this little boy has a name. Timmy? I don't know. I don't know his name. But he reminds me of the Polar Express little boy. The one that's like running after the train. You know, like the sweet one. The one that you just kind of want to hug. He definitely has a name, you guys. Someone comment the name. What is his name? Anyways, I don't know why him and Neville have the same vibe to me, but they just kind of do. And I love it. I really enjoyed rereading this because even though I've like read all of these before, I feel like I only really remember the big monumental moments. Like I remember finding out the truth about Snape's character like later in the books. I remember obviously the Dumbledore thing. Like I remember big like life-changing revelations, big disagreements, deaths, like huge moments I remember, but the in-between I just don't really remember. In the first book there were a couple scenes that I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm however old I was, 8 years old again reading this because I remembered it so clearly, but at the same time not, because I don't know, there were pieces I just forgot about. And it was kind of like reading a new book, but being back with family. It was like the comfort of being back with your family, but having different experiences. I'm making no sense. I gave it 4 stars. I had a hard time rating it because it's so nostalgic. It feels like it's not the same rating scale as the books I read now, so I struggled to rate it, but I settled on a 4-star, and that feels fair because I really enjoyed it, but it's definitely not the best book in the series, so that's where we're at. I also read another book. This is not going to be in the vlog because I didn't film any clips. I wasn't going to include it at all, but I just want to mention it. It's What My Bones Know, and I don't see this talked about anywhere. It's a memoir. I don't rate memoirs, but I do think you should read it. It's really, really, really good. It's about CPTSD, so complex PTSD, and just like healing from trauma. There's so much covered in this book. There's child abuse and like academic pressures and growing up as an Asian American and the like model minority myth. I remember learning about that in college and like reading about a lived experience with it. It was really, really, really good. I enjoyed this a lot. I feel like this memoir did a great job of combining like a little bit of science and also like anecdotal lived experience. Like she talks about the science of CPTSD, diagnostic criteria, depression, anxiety, SSRIs. She even talks about like birth control, and she shares like science and also her lived experience. So I feel like it was a really great meshing. I thought it was really well done, really great, really beautiful, really emotional. Check trigger warnings because there's a lot covered, but I think it's a great memoir. If you're a memoir fan or wanting to become a memoir fan, highly recommend checking this out. I thought it was really, really well done. And then the final update, last time I yapped at you, I think I talked about reading Beartown or If You Tell next, and I decided I am going to be reading both of those books and I'm going to be vlogging them, but they're going to be together in a future vlog. I had an idea, it clicked in my brain, and I was like, I want to vlog both these books for a vlog idea that you will see coming up soon, but not this vlog. So we're not reading any of those yet, but we will be, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it. Shameless self-plug. But what we are reading is Out of the Woods by Hannah Bonham Young. This is her newest release. It came out in January, and this is the second book to Out on a Limb. They're interconnected standalones, so you can read them as standalones, but this is Wynn's best friend, Sarah, and her husband. So it follows them, and you see Wynn and Beau through this book, like quite a bit. I'm only 100 pages in, and they're already like kind of big side characters in this book. So I'm really enjoying this so far. Hannah Bonham Young wrote at the beginning that this is actually very personal to her and kind of like a personal, she like poured a lot of herself into this book, it sounds like, because Sarah and what's his name? Sarah and Caleb in this book are married very, very young. I think they were like 18 or 19. And Hannah Bonham Young says that she also was married very, very, very young. And the main conflict in this book is just Sarah not feeling like she ever had the ability to like establish independence or a true sense of self. She went from being like young, someone's daughter, just kind of growing up. Like you don't really have a full formed sense of identity at the age of 18 or 19. And then she got married and just kind of fell into the role of being Caleb's wife, and not like to any of his wrongdoing, I think, but she's like a stay-at-home wife, and there's nothing wrong with that, but she's not feeling fulfilled. Like she wants a career, she wants a passion, she wants to know who she is. And because she doesn't have that, it's bringing up like resentment in her marriage, and there's conflict in her marriage. So when the main character from Out on a Limb gifts her and Caleb a kind of like a couples retreat with a couples therapist, and it's in the wilderness. So they have no phones, no connection to the outside world, and they're not allowed to have spicy time together. That's one of the rules. So this book is basically them on this couples retreat in the wilderness, just trying to work through some of the barriers and the conflicts that they're having in their marriage, and kind of get back to a place where they're both feeling really fulfilled and really happy individually and together. This also has past and present point of view, so we're learning about when they first met and kind of like their history in high school and like back in the day when they were first getting to know each other. I feel like we're learning a lot about Sarah in the past, which is really interesting, and kind of why they rushed their marriage, kind of the dreams and goals she had for herself prior to being married, all of those things. We're building more and more of her character depth and character development as we read a lot of the backstory. There are a couple quotes in this too. She's kind of bookish, and I really love her. Let me find the quote that I loved. Okay, so she's talking about how she didn't pack her e-reader on this like retreat because they're in the wilderness and don't obviously have like electricity. And she's like, I didn't pack it. It would have only lasted a few days before the battery gave out anyways. Get this, you guys. Caleb smiles knowingly, his face tilted up to the ceiling. I brought it, and a solar charger. I didn't want you to lose your reading streak. Downloaded a couple of extra books too. A man that prioritizes the reading streak. My heart melted. It melted. And also a little later on, she goes, I'm a simple creature at my core. Give me books, sunlight, water, and a handsome man looking at me like I'm some rare jewel, and I'm all set. I just love her. She's like, I love the little touch of being bookish in a female main character. I feel like it makes her just a little more relatable. She's really, really sweet. I love her. Loving this story so far. I love Hannah Bonham Young's writing, and yeah, I'm having a great time. I'm really enjoying it. So I'm gonna go continue reading on my lazy reading day that I'm having. I think I'm going to get dinner. We're picking up dinner, me and my mom, later today, and that's all I have on my agenda. I might make banana bread too, because that sounds really good. But aside from that, I'm just reading. I'm just reading. Baby girl. Okay, one sec, babe. We'll play in a sec. I'm back with the final reading update. I flew through this book. Flew through it. I read it in under 24 hours, and it was really, really good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. So Hannah Bonham Young is continuing to wow me. She is an auto-buy author for me. I really just love her writing. It's really, really good. And this felt almost similar to a Catherine Center book, and you know I'm a huge fan of Catherine Center, but it felt like women's fiction meets romance rather than just being focused on the romance. And I don't know if it's because it wasn't dual POV or if it was like just the storyline talking really about Sarah and like her trying to find her own identity and her own sense of worth outside of her relationship. There were just so many dynamics in this book that made it feel almost like the romance was a little bit of a subplot, but still very much an important part of the story. I don't know if that's making sense, but if you've read Catherine Center, you know the vibe I'm kind of describing. This was very similar to that, and I loved it. I also really loved that there was no massive relational conflict in this book. Like, it really was just a marriage that was struggling. There was no infidelity, there was no disrespect. Like, I love both of these main characters. Both of them acted beautifully, both of them acted maturely, both of them I really feel like were adults in an adult relationship, there was never a moment where I was like, I really just don't like how you behaved. Like there was no huge conflict that it was either person's fault. Do you know what I mean? It was really just like life, you know? And I feel like that is so much of relationship conflict, is like no one's really at fault. It's just life being life. And I feel like this was a really accurate portrayal of that, and I really, really liked it. I also feel there's a couple moments in this book I noticed some bookish pet peeves that I don't know that I was aware of, but I was aware of reading this. And one of them, it bothers me so much, you guys, when characters in books are like, and I was speaking out loud and I can't believe that the words were coming out of my mouth. I thought I was just thinking them. Like they're surprised that they're saying things out loud because they thought they were inside thoughts and they were saying them. Never in my life has that happened to me. Never in my life have I been thinking something and I'm like, oh my gosh, I accidentally just said that to a room full of people. Is that a thing? Like it bothers me in books because that never once has happened to me in real life where I accidentally say what I'm thinking in that type of way, you know? It's weird. It's a pet peeve of mine. Aside from that though, it was really great. You know what it reminded me of? This just clicked. It reminded me of Catherine Center's, a specific Catherine Center book, her Happiness for Beginners, but I didn't like that book. I liked this one. This is like achieved what I think Catherine was hoping to do with her Happiness for Beginners, but kind of like that wildernessy finding yourself element was done really well in this book. That's what it reminds me of. That's it. Man, I love talking when I vlog because sometimes it helps me like put the pieces together. Things come to me while I'm talking that I'm like, I've been like sitting on this and wasn't even aware that I was missing a connection, but I make a connection by talking. Yet ironically, my words are making no sense. So I'm gonna shut up. I really enjoyed this book. I think I'm gonna settle on a 4-star for this one. Feels like a really solid 4-star. Honestly, there wasn't a lot of plot really. It was just kind of like a character-driven romance. I don't know. It was a lot of fun. I really, really enjoyed it. I would definitely say I liked Out on a Limb better than this one, but I really like this. I would highly recommend. I think it's great. I think it's fabulous. Definitely worth the read in my opinion. But that is all for this weekly vlog. We're gonna wrap it up here. Just mood reading for a week. And honestly, I feel like just sitting in front of a vlog camera and talking to you guys has kind of reignited. I think I said at the beginning, I was feeling like a little bit in a slump with just like creativity and filming ideas. I have a huge list in my phone through this past week of upcoming vlog ideas that I really, really, really want to get to. So I think just like taking some of the pressure off and just being like, yeah, I'm just gonna yap to my besties and mood read for a week has really, really, really helped creativity bloom. I'm sorry if you can hear my dog chomping her food in the background. She's a muncher. I was trying to like switch up background locations. This isn't pretty either. It's my laptop and my book that I'm reading over here. But I would always film in front of my bookshelf. So I was like, I'll switch it up and take it to the living room. But this is why I don't, because like she's crunching over there. But we can wrap it up here. Make sure you're following me on all the things linked down below. Make sure you're subscribed here so you don't miss future videos and those fun vlog ideas that I have coming up. And I will talk to you in the next one. Bye, book besties.